will essentially list 80 pages worth of legal, both penal code and common law code, and you call it, when you have, by example, my mind is starting to go blank. When you have court cases, of examples showing that basically all of their contracts are null and void because they did not inform us. Worse than not informing us, they have made it almost impossible for us to even see that we were not fully informed, and they've used color of law, legal art, and so forth. So I won't go off on that tangent, but it's an 80-page document, and I've read it and agonized and printed it and marked it up and made notes and reviewed it like I was reviewing somebody else's writing, and I'll give them a 95. I mean, I have a couple of minor changes I'm going to submit to the originator of the document. It is an awesome document, and I believe it's on a par with the kind of work that you're doing. But I view now, I discovered your organization since I began studying their documents and going through the list. I think I even give their link in my email to you. So if you discover my email, you'll have a chance to look at it. It's got several web pages and just tons of documents, and very, very, very similar, if not equal to the kind of reasoning that you're explaining. When you open up your meetings and so forth. It's a biblical-based kind of logic. I'll leave it from there. So anyway, my second question was related to the Social Security number, and I think you've covered it very well. Thank you. The third one is just a thought to toss out there for all those who are listening. I have a personal perspective that this multi-trillion-dollar debt is not as intimidating. Did I lose you? Okay, my phone sometimes cuts out on me. Are you still there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hear you? Okay. My phone call comes in over the internet because my cell phone doesn't work in my house. We have built in to our numbers inflation, and you wish you can explain better than I can, so I'm only referring to it, not with intent of informing you, but just to point to it as orientation for what I'm trying to say, is that for every printed currency, it costs us the value that's printed on that currency plus some arbitrary inflation, and that the inflation curve has been relatively, consistent of, 2 to 5% per year. It's built into the system. So, and then on all the fears that I hear almost everywhere I look, I mean, I can't even see. It's like walking the Firewalk River in Yellowstone Park. Until it's 20 miles long, you don't realize that the next corner is just going to lead you to more miles. So when you start to discover commentaries and explanations of how our inflation is just unmanageable, there's no end to comments out there on the web. But it's all a Ponzi scheme, number one. So therefore, number one, it's illegal. It's the world's largest Ponzi scheme in history. And number two, the numbers that are used are all Ponzi scheme numbers. They're all like your amortization, for your bank mortgage. What we really need to do is reverse amortize the number from trillions back down to the original value. Whereas, like, for instance, just one quick example aside, like when they tax you, for instance, you buy a house at, I'm just going to throw numbers out here, say you buy a house at $100,000. When my father bought his house, it was $8,000. When his father bought his house, it was $400. But you say today you buy a house at $100,000, just arbitrary number, and for whatever reason you keep it for 5 years, and then you sell it for, I'll just throw a number out there, we'll say $500,000. So that's going to have inflation built into this number, in which you sell something that you bought at a pre-inflated number, and then these corporate tax schemes tax you at the latest inflated number. So all of that bullshit needs to be literally weeded out, reverse amortized all the way back to the base number. And I believe I'm an engineer, so I'm not qualified to do the numbers, and we don't have the time to do it anyway. It's not in our scope. But just to point at it, I am confident that the people who deal with these kind of numbers, financial numbers, accounting numbers, will probably be able to point to existing tools, not just tables and charts, that can reverse amortize these idiotic numbers that they're throwing out at us and totally scaring us with these bubbles, and reverse amortize them back to manageable numbers, so that the people who are or will be addressing this debt and all the cascading effects.
I gotta bring your question to a close. I know you're trying to make a statement here, but we got a couple more questions in the queue, and it's coming up to a head, and we got to shut this call down. Do you have any final statement?
No, just that I believe that the inflated number will be deflated. Thank you.
That's actually a good point that I haven't considered before, and there's a lot more smart people in this world that are probably going to figure out a way to get it done. I just hope that I hope it's done ethically and morally. Lauren, thank you for the phone call. God bless you, and I hope you have a good evening.
Likewise.
Okay, we're going to bring on area code 425. Go ahead. You have the floor.
Yeah, this is Marcel from Everett, Washington.
Marcel, how are you doing?
Hey, just actually got a couple of questions. One's actually from my wife. We homeschool our kids, and she wanted to know if you guys knew of any curriculum that would teach along the baseline of, of the republic and the government standpoint. That was her question. I'm going to ask my question. We have some money, some cash that we're kind of stashing, and it's Federal Reserve notes. And the question is, what should we be holding on to this, or should we be converting it into a different currency? What are your thoughts on that? And that's pretty much it.
Okay. My children are homeschooled as well, and I appreciate what you do and are doing for your kids. The curriculum is called Parent Truth. There is no book that is going to tell you the truth about what's happened in U.S. history. As a matter of fact, I was getting upset today when I was watching my children get trained up on information regarding how our country was established and brought about, and because it was leaving out a lot of the muck. So at this point, it's the parents telling the truth to the kids, and I apologize, I can't give you more now. If you're personally lacking information, we can point you to some areas in which we'll explain. We're going to make the republicfortheunitedstates.org website. We're going to make that the teaching website and the press release website. We're going to make the Bureau of Republic Records basically the records holding website for the Republic. So the point being, you're going to be able to go there and show your kids all kinds of information, including videos and things that will help them understand the truth about the history of this country and move on. Your second question, I will not advise anybody on any investment level whatsoever. What I'll tell you is what I've done. I bought a ton of silver, and I bought a ton of dinar, and I bought a ton of food and barterable items. I have enough for probably a year. And I know when crap hits the fan, my family is okay. That is the bottom line. Every time my son, he's got a dog walking business, he makes $40, $50 a week. He's a little genius at 10 years old. He just went and gave me $235 yesterday, and I went down and bought him a bunch of silver and brought it back to him, handed it to him, and he puts it in my safe, in his little safe within my safe, and he's got silver. Silver, its ratio between gold and silver during depressionary times is 1/16. Meaning, if you have an ounce at $1,400, what is a 16th of an ounce? It's about $100 or $90, somewhere in there. Right now, silver is only at $31 or $2. So when depressionary times hit, as they did in the 70s, as they have done many times in this century, it's always gone to that ratio of 1/16. So if you can imagine for a second, it just goes to 1/16. Your price of silver is going to go through the roof, number one. Number two, it's being said that gold is going to inflate to $4,000 to $5,000 an ounce. That is all over the internet, whether it's true or not. It seems like it could be true. Why do I say that? Number one, they had a dollar they had an ounce of gold issued at the G7 summit 2 years ago or something like that, and it was what they were trying to use as propaganda for the one world currency, and they gave this ounce of gold a value of $4,300. Now remember, that's current dollar value. That's as of 2 years ago. Number one. Number two, the dollar on newmoney.gov, the $100 bill, looks incredibly like it's gold backed. If there's not enough gold, or if there's enough gold, either way, the price of gold is going to go up when the dollar becomes gold backed. So, if gold goes up to $4,000 to $5,000 an ounce, and silver predominantly is at 1/16 the ratio, you can make an incredible profit either way on gold, silver, hard commodities, and or food. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I'm not the only person, I'm not the only real living man that speaks this. When depressionary times hit, food and water is going to be as valuable as gold and silver. So think about all those things and convert as quickly as possible, because the rumor is the Federal Reserve dollar, the Federal Reserve note, is going to be devalued in January by up to 10%. And within the next 3 to 4 to 5 months, another 20 to 30%. So when countries from a historical standpoint lose 10% of its currency value, that throws them into a major depression. And you will see civil unrest. It's not a pretty thing to think about, but savings are going to be lost. Inflation is going to go up. The QE3, the QE4 are going to come out. All smoke and mirrors to try to stabilize a massive inflationary growth in 2011. That's not my opinion. That's the opinion of many, many high-level accounting investors. And if you go to NIA, National Inflation Association, which has been recommended by Fox News, not to say Fox News is great and tells the truth all the time, because we know they don't, but they've been stated on Fox News and other news stations that they are the inflation association that has absolutely been checked out up and down and backwards. And 100% of their predictions for 2010 came true. 2011, they're anticipating a loaf of bread is going to be $26. A gallon of milk is going to be in the $20 range. Coffee, $80. Guys, we're going to be in a changed world. Prepare your families, prepare your homes, support the Republic, because this is the only venue, seriously, the only refuge whatsoever for the people on this land. I hope that answers your question without instilling a lot of fear.
Well, that's great. I'm in the bread business, so I guess I'm going to make a lot of money since I'm commission-based. But anyway, so, yeah, that really does answer it. As for the food, are you talking just grains and stuff like that? Or I've heard you guys talk about aquaponic systems and stuff like that. Is that something that you're talking about by having food storage?
I have an aquaponic system in my home, and my plants just budded. It was a gift for Christmas from my family. I also have grain. I also have a protein. I also have powders. I also have grain mill makers. I also have a backyard full of fruit trees at a family member's house. I also have, and the reason why I'm telling you this is because you need to think about this for yourself. Freeze-dried food, canned food, all those things are going to be valuable. And I have a water maker. People go, what's a water maker? It's a reverse humidifier. It just takes the water out of the air. I also have solar. I also have a lot of things that are getting ready for a bad time. I am that sold on the fact that we are walking into a bad time that I will protect my family at all costs. And that's why I'm 100% in this republic.